So we discussed this now, enrichment of ores and extraction also we discussed. And what's the purification method? What is the most popular purification method of a metal? Can you tell?
Electrolysis.
Electrolytic refining. Can you explain me this process? This one?
In this process, what happens? Uh,
Hmm.
a refined metal, a thin refined metal is kept at cathode, and the impure metal is kept at
Hmm.
anode. So
Hmm.
when what happens is the,
What happened?
the impurities they go to the cathode side, and that one the anode one it becomes pure.
Hmm.
The
The
impurity they settle down below anode.
yes. So the impure block is dissolved and deposited on the cathode side, है ना? To make it pure. ठीक है? Now, what is corrosion? Corrosion is again is a method. It's a slow process of eating away of metals by the reaction of your moisture, which is present in atmosphere. So, how can we prevent corrosion? Galvanization, which is a what is galvanization? Galvanization is a process of thin coating layer of a zinc. So here um, we coat a metal with a thin layer of zinc, so that is known as galvanization. Alloying क्या होता है? What is alloying? It's very easy process. It
Um,
is a hmm,
method in which one metal and non-metal is used. Uh,
hmm.
and
A
basically,
metal, we can mix a metal with a metal, or we can mix a metal with another non-metal. So both the metals and non-metals are involved over here. So we can easily mix a metal with this or this. Okay? By mixing it, we can prevent the corrosion. So this is the alloying process. Galvanization is a thin layer of zinc coating. Next is alloying of iron. So, what is alloying of iron? Alloying means the process of mixing of a metal with a metal or with a non-metal. So for iron, what we use? So, pure iron is very soft and stretches easily when hot. So, when we will hot iron, what will happen? It will become very soft and we can stretch it easily, right? So it is mixed with a small amount of carbon and it becomes hard and strong. तो फिर क्या होता है हम लोग आयन को जो है मिक्स कर देते हैं किस चीज के साथ कार्बन के साथ why to make it hard and strong because iron are very hard ठीक है they can't melt easily so by mixing carbon we are like making the iron very hard and strong so iron is mixed with many metals to form different alloys for example iron is mixed with nickel chromium stainless steel which is very hard and does not rust so iron क्या होता है iron को जो हम लोग mix करते हैं with several different metals for example your nickel metal chromium metal to hello Ria
Good evening, ma'am.
good evening can you please switch on your camera
Ma'am, my camera is not working.
why it's not working
Ma'am, I don't know. My internet is bad, so it's not on properly.
so you are logged in from your phone device or laptop
Computer, ma'am.
okay so where's your notes Ria
Ma'am, I did not. I have written my notes, but
hmm
ma'am, I did not have my phone for the last 3 days, so I could not send it.
why
And my parents took it, so I'll send it to you right after class today.
okay but don't forget to send
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we are discussing the how to prevent the corrosion. So first method that we discussed was galvanization method. In this method, what we used to do, we used to coat a iron with the help, sorry, coat a metal with the help of zinc. Second is your alloying method, alloying process. There we used to mix a metal with a metal or a metal with a non-metal. So by mixing it, we can prevent some corrosion. Third is alloying of iron. So iron is very soft and it stretches when we heat it. But if we will mix iron with a carbon, so what will happen on mixing the carbon with the iron? It become very hard and very strong. So and like for example, we can also mix alloying of iron. Okay, so iron को mix करते हैं with a nickel or a chromium to make it very hard and which will not rest on mixing iron with the different several metals. Now, of gold. So pure gold is very soft. Okay, it's called a 24 karat gold to increase the strength and hardness of a gold to make it suitable for making jewelry. So for making a jewelry, we use how many karat golds? 24 karat golds. Alloy of gold is made either with a silver or copper. So for the process of iron, it is mixed with nickel and chromium. But for the process of gold, it is mixed with either silver or a copper. ठीक है, तो क्या होता है यहाँ पे 22 कैरेट गोल्ड मीन्स 22 parts pure gold mixed with 2 parts of your copper or silver, means there are total 24 carat golds. And 22 carat gold, this is your pure gold, and 2 more carat is mixed with your silver or copper, means whole 24 karat gold is not there, it is mixed with two several other metals, silver and copper. Okay, now if anyone will ask you that if that 24 gold is pure, no, it is not pure. It is 22 karat gold is pure, but 2 carat is mixed with silver or copper. आवाज आ रही है?
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, alloying of gold. So, how to prevent the corrosion of a gold? First is your painting. So, we can paint. Rusting of iron can be easily prevented by coating on the surface with the paint. So, we can easily paint it. So, next is your greasing or oiling. So, oiling or grease which is applied on this, let's say this is your iron nail. So, greasing or oiling is applied to the surface of your iron. Okay, to like to prevent it to come in contact with your air and moisture which is present in your atmosphere to prevent rusting. Third is your tin plating and chromium plating. So tin and chromium metals are resistant to corrosion. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है, when a thin layer of tin metal is deposited on iron by electroplacing, so the iron and steel is protected from the rusting. Once again, we'll go through this. So, corrosion prevention is of three types. First is your galvanization, second is your alloy, third is your alloy of iron. And for the alloying of gold, there is again three process: by painting, by greasing or oiling, and third is your tin or chromium plating. Hmm. What is alloy? Can anybody tell me what is alloy?
Ma'am, mixture of two metals or one metal or non-metal.
Okay. Ria, what is alloy?
Ma'am, a mixture of two metals or a metal and non-metal to prevent it from corrosion.
Hmm. So alloy is a homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixture means same mixture of two or more metals or a metal and a non-metal. So there will be a mixture of a MM, which is a metal and metal, or there will be a mixture of a metal and NM. Okay, metal and non-metal or metals and metal. So that is your alloy. And how it is prepared? It is prepared by mixing the metals in a molten form and then cooling the mixture. So it is prepared by mixing and after that cooling. ठीक है, the electrical conductivity and the melting point of alloy is less than of the pure metals. So basically let's say silver. ठीक है, silver क्या है? Silver is a metal, but the melting point of silver is higher than the melting point of your alloy. Why? Because alloy is a mixture of metals, but silver is a pure metal. So that's why alloy is having a less melting point than your pure metal. For example, brass an alloy of copper, or zinc and bronze an alloy of copper, and tin, which are not good conductor of electricity. But copper is used for making electrical circuits. Why? Because copper is your pure metal, but alloy, which is not a good conductor of electricity, it's a mixture and it's having a very less melting point. That's why it is not a very good conductor of electricity. Okay? An alloy of lead or a tin has a low melting point and it is used for welding electrical wires together. Alloy contains mercury as one of its component. It is called amalgam. What is amalgam? Amalgam means alloy agar contain kar raha hai mercury, so mercury as one of its components means there are several components, but if alloy is containing a mercury as one of its components, so that is known as amalgam. Now tell me why alloy is having a less melting point as compared to other metals. Shazan, why alloy is less melting point? Why alloy has less melting point than other metals?
Because maybe
Hmm?
what happens is when uh, two metals are mixed to form
Hmm.
an alloy that is an impure substance,
Hmm.
right? And they have a low melting point uh, compared to the metals alone, metals or non-metals.
Mhm. Now, non-metals are a bad conductor of electricity and heat. And if you are mixing a metal with a non-metal, so overall the melting point will be less. Okay? It will be less, right? Because metals have a high melting point, non-metals will have a less
And
melting point. So,
what if the alloy is made up of both the both components?
both the metals, right? But then also your melting point will be less
No,
because whenever there's a mixture of two or more metals, now, if let's say there's a copper and let's say copper, silver, and any other metals. So if we will mix these two, it will have a less melting point than it's a copper, because copper is a single and a very pure metal. But if we'll mix it, there will be some kind of a impurity. So if impurity will be there, then obviously your melting point will be less. ठीक है? अच्छा, tell me what is amalgam.
where mercury is present as one of the
Hmm.
components in the
For
alloy.
amalgam. Yes. Now what is this? One second. Let me erase. The wonder of ancient Indian metallurgy. So, the iron pillar near Qutub Minar in Delhi was built more than 1600 years ago by the iron workers of the India. So, the Qutub Minar, which is there in Delhi, was built more than 1600 years ago by the iron workers of India. So, they had developed a process which prevented the iron from rusting. This is due to the presence of thin layer of magnetic oxide, which is Fe3O4 on their surface. So, for its quality of rust resistance, it has been examined by scientists from all parts of the world. The iron pillar is 8-meter high and weigh 6 tons. Now, have you seen Qutub Minar in Delhi? Qutub Minar in Delhi is an iron pillar. So iron rusts, है ना? But why iron pillar? But why this Qutub Minar is not rusting? Because what iron workers did, um, they made a coating of a thin layer of a magnetic oxide, which is Fe3O4. If we will, अगर इसको वो कर देंगे ना, क्या कहते हैं? Thin layer, if we'll make Fe3O4, so what will happen? It will resist the rust of iron. ठीक है? And that's why till now Qutub Minar looks very shiny and it's not rusted at all. Next. हाँ, so alloy again here. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे क्या है? Alloy, short notes. Alloy, which is a homogeneous mixture of two or more metals, or a metal and non-metal, called alloy. So brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. Copper क्या है? Metal है. Zinc is also a metal. But steel is an alloy of iron and carbon. Iron is a metal, but carbon is a non-metal. ठीक है? So alloy, you got it na? It's a mixture of metals as well as a non-metal. And this example you can write in your exam: brass and steel. This is an alloy of both metals, and steel is an alloy of metal and a non-metal. Hmm. And what is amalgam? Amalgam is a, one second. Amalgam is an alloy of mercury and one or more metals. For example, zinc and Hg. It will become zinc amalgam. Why? Because Hg is a mercury, and if there will be a one of the component of a mercury which is present in the iron, so that we can call it as amalgam, है ना? Copper क्या है? Copper Hg अगर हम लोग लिखेंगे, so it will be copper amalgam. ठीक है? If there will be Hg when which is mixed with any other metal, so that we will write that particular metal, and after that we can write amalgam as well. ठीक है? Now, what are the properties? So they are harder than their constituent but less ductile and malleable. What is iron? Iron, which is resistant, means if we will prevent it, so it will be resistance to corrosion. Melting point of alloy may be higher or lower than any of its constituents. Properties क्या होती है alloy की? Are much more improved and pronounced than those its constituent. For example, aluminium is a lightweight metal, and it is not very strong. But if you will see duralumin, it is also an alloy of aluminium, but it is very light and very strong. So these are the differences between the alloy. That's why the mixture of metals, metal or non-metal and metal, we call that the melting point will be less only as compared to a single full metal. ठीक है? So this chapter is completed. Here we discussed about metals. अच्छा, reactivity series जल्दी से बताओ. Shazan or Ria, anybody.
Sodium,
Hmm.
potassium, sodium, calcium,
Hmm.
magnesium, aluminum, uh, iron, zinc, iron, tin, lead, hydrogen. After
Now
that,
all the less reactive.
after that, I'm forgetting. It was mercury,
You can write in one page and paste in your wall. So it will be easy for you to remember.
iron,
क्योंकि ये सब बहुत important है. It's very important.
mercury, silver, gold, and last advantage.
Hmm.
Mama,
Hmm.
it's tin, lead, hydrogen, copper, mercury, silver, gold.
That only I was going to.
Okay. So, difference and reaction between the metals and non-metals we discussed, and occurrence of metals we discussed. Quickly, we will revise it. So, in the metals, we discussed all of the physical properties, which are metallic luster, hardness, luster means shiny, hardness, ductile, which can be easily drawn into wires, for example, ring, jewelry, malleability, which can be beaten into thin sheets, for example, kaju katli, you can take electrical conductivity. Metals are very good conductor of heat and electricity. Good conductor of heat hota hai. Melting and boiling point is also very high for metals. Sonority means there will be a sound on striking on a very hard surface. So that's a sonorous. Example, your school bells. Second, we discussed about the chemical property reaction of metal with oxygen. If metal and oxygen will combine, it will form metal oxide. For example, zinc and oxygen, zinc oxide, copper oxygen, copper oxide. Okay. So this is your order of reactivity series, because Na is more reactive, then your copper, then your silver, then your iron. Next, so there are more reaction. There was the reaction of metal with oxygen. Here, metal or reaction of metal with acids. So if we will mix zinc and dilute, we'll get the zinc chloride. but the reaction of dilute HNO3 will be very less, and there are two exceptional cases, one for manganese and second is for magnesium. Okay, tell me what is royal water, Shazan.
Ma'am, royal water, it is also known as aqua regia. It is a
What is the ratio?
ratio is 3 to 1. Three parts made of hydrochloric acid, one part is nitric acid.
Hmm,
It can dissolve platinum and gold. That's the only that what it is known as.
very good. Okay, reaction of metals with other metals also we discussed. Here, if copper is combining with your silver, so in the output, the copper will combine with your nitrate and Ag will be alone. Second, reaction of, so there are various reactions. Okay, so Ria, please make notes according to the reactions. It will be easy for you in the time of exam. Reaction of metal with water. If metal is combining with the water, it will give you metal oxide and hydrogen gas. Same for the various other metals you can write. Here is for potassium, sodium, calcium, aluminium, iron. Okay. अब what is the chemical first let's discuss the physical properties of non-metal. Malleability, ductility होता नहीं है. It cannot be beaten into thin sheets and cannot be drawn into wires. Brittleness means क्या होता है? If it is hampered, it will be break into pieces. Your non-metals. Physical state and luster means non-metals are not shiny.
Except
Chemical,
glitter and diamond.
हाँ, except that. Non-metals chemical properties क्या है? If chlorine is combining with this, it will give you salt, which is a sodium chloride, and bromine. ठीक है?
Asking the chemical properties also.
हाँ.
It is electrical and thermal conductivity and melting and boiling points.
Yes. So this is the reactivity. Potassium, sodium. ठीक है? तो याद कर लेना, which is very important. This is what? Acha, reaction between metals and non-metals. Here we discuss lot of electronic configuration of various other metals as well as non-metals. Tin, lead, all of these were discussed. Now you are familiar with electronic configuration. ठीक है?
And
ये सब याद कर लेना, which is very important.
can you tell once again that how to find the valency? Like which one will be the valency? Can you tell again?
Valency. Acha, means the whole electronic configuration. Okay,
Like,
well, let
how
me
will
let
identify
let
the
me teach
valency
you
of
from the start. What?
I'm asking how we will identify the valency of the electron.
Okay, okay, okay. So this you know na SPDF how many electrons
Yeah.
in each. Hmm. Now let's say, but you have to remember the atomic number of every metals. For example, oxygen क्या होता है, tin क्या होता है, ठीक है? So this is the necessary. This you have to remember. Now this is the formula of electronic configuration. This thing very messy now.
That
This
understood.
is the formula, huh?
Understood. Then towards the two pieces. Then starts from
Okay.
three.
Okay. So for example, what example should we take? For example, simple one, oxygen क्या होता है? 8 होता है. कैसे करना है? First of all, it is very important for you to fill all of the s electron with the 2 electrons. ठीक है? Last में, let's say if 2 is left and your d subshell is there, so it's better for you to write only 2. Don't write 10 electrons because 2 is only left over here. Now you will see that it should be 8, right? But it's 2 in the outermost shell. So what is the um, easy way for any metal or a non-metal to gain more 6 electrons? 6 plus 2 will be 8, or to lose 2 electrons, so it will become 0. So for any metals, gaining will be difficult and losing will be easy process. ठीक है? तो अगर लास्ट में 2 electrons बचता है, so they will easily lose 2 electrons to become neutral. I mean, to means the outermost shell will be then full. It should be 0 or 8. Let's say if 7 हो रहा है and total should be 8, so it will easily gain 1 electrons. ठीक है? But valency which you were asking Shazan, if you will make electronic configuration then it will be very easy for you कि valency last में क्या होगा, और जो last electron में होता है that is only the valency. ठीक है, तो electronic configuration करके you will easily get to know, and you will also get to know कि whether it is gaining or losing the electrons.
और कभी कभी वैलेंसी 1 भी रहता, तो 1 कैसे आता है?
अब वो देखना पड़ेगा कि कौन से मेटल के लिए तुम कह रहे हो वन। कोई एग्जाम्पल दो, कोई मेटल जिसमें वन हो।
हाँ,
वेट लेट मी,
डाल के करे तो
इफ देर इज वन देन वो लूज ही करेगा ना वन इलेक्ट्रॉन को। ठीक है, कोई प्रॉब्लम होगा तो मेरे को मैसेज कर देना। नेक्स्ट इज व्हाट, नेक्स्ट इज द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ आयनिक। आयनिक ऑल्सो विद फिजिकल नेचर क्या होता है, सेम एज द योर सॉलिड, where it's a very strong force of attraction between them because negative and positive ions is there. ठीक है, तो solid में भी ये होता है strong force of attraction, fully packed. Melting and boiling point high hota hai in solids, so same for the ionic, it's also high melting and boiling. Solubility means they will have both soluble and insoluble, soluble in water, insoluble in non polar, which is your kerosene, benzene, ether, petrol. Conduction of electricity, so they are very good conductor of electricity, same as your metals. Occurrence of metals हम लोगों ने डिस्कस करा. What is occurrence of metals? If the earth crust is a major source of metals, है ना, so the elements or the compounds, compounds means it's a mixture, है ना, so compounds or the elements which occur naturally in the earth crust, that is known as the minerals. And the minerals from which the metals can be extracted, it are called ores. जिस मिनरल से हम लोग इजिली मेटल्स को ले सकते हैं उसको बोलते हैं ores. ठीक है, our elements or compounds which we are getting naturally from earth crust, those are known as minerals. Extraction of minerals also were discussed. Metals of low reactivity, high reactivity, and medium reactivity. So this diagram is also very important as per your CBSE exam. Okay, so don't forget to remember this diagram as well. Enrichment of ores. Enrichment of ores means in the ores there's lots of impurities, sand and soil, so which is found in ores which are known as matrix. So the removal of that particular thing are known as the enrichment. Enrichment means usko rich kar dena by removing all of the impurities from ores. So extraction of metals is the two processes, your HGS and your Cu2s. So this two process is very important. And these are the processes of your high reactivity, medium reactivity, and last is your low reactivity. Refining, हम लोगों ने पढ़ा. Refining means this is the very famous purification of the metal process, which is electrolytic refining. In the cathode there is a pure, in the anode there is an impure. So the anode one means the impure metal will go to the cathode, means it will dissolve and deposited on the cathode side to become from impure to a pure metal. Corrosion, prevention of corrosion, three processes: galvanization, alloying, and the last is your. And in the alloying, there's a iron, gold. Okay, what is alloy? Alloy is a mixture of metal or metals or non-metals, and the melting point of alloy is less as compared to your metals. Last, we discussed about the amalgam. Amalgam means the mercury which is present as one of the constituent which is known as the amalgam, like zinc amalgam, copper amalgam, okay, silver amalgam. So these are the properties of your amalgam. Now, any doubt in any of the topic from this chapter? This chapter is done, which is a metals and non-metals. From and tomorrow there will won't be any test. Tomorrow there will be assignment class. Next week or next to next week we will see there will be test, and after that carbon and its compound I'll start. Okay, and after carbon and compound when it's done, so there will be a revision, full revision of chemistry to make your basic very very clear. ठीक है, और सरप्राइज टेस्ट भी होगा. Okay, Ria, any doubt? Okay, then see you tomorrow. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye, ma'am.